Well, we have come of age. This is episode 21 of the Opinioneers. Yes, 21 monthly episodes. It seems like only yesterday.
Seems like only 2 years ago we started doing this.
Yeah, we haven't learned that much either, have we?
No.
Really?
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself,
And
Derek.
also,
I'm learning every day.
Unlike Caroline Leavitt, Trump's press secretary, who said, if Donald Trump says it, it must be true. If we say it, it may or may not be true.
It is likely to be questioned, I think, is the honest answer to that one,
that's
Derek.
the whole idea. I know, what is it? Aim, yes, that's a good word, is to tickle your brain cells. So there we go. So today's topic is ambition. So there was two or three things that crossed the mind, but the first thing that I suppose we could kick off with is ambition a healthy thing these days? I mean,
well, yeah, go on.
No,
sorry.
you can by all means.
I have thought. Well, so for me, I mean, when you posed this, I thought, well, most founders confuse ambition with stubbornness. Ambition is sort of driving to that point, which is sort of fixed, and we've got to get there. It's that sort of that driven thing where people think that because they're ambitious, they've got to stay to a path. And I think real ambition is knowing exactly where you're going and being flexible about how you go there. And I think you were sort of talking about the difference between sort of ambition and that adaptability as we were sort of coming on air. I think too few founders realize, too few business leaders, too few CEOs think that their ambition is they think ambition is a strength. It can only be a strength if you've got that ability to be completely flexible about how you're going to get there. And if your ambition comes from sort of the family, or if your ambition, you mentioned this to me, if the ambition comes from the family, if the ambition comes from somebody else, your partner or your business partner saying, this is what you've got to do, and you're completely fixed on it to the extent that you can't actually realize there's another way, you fall and fail. And that is hugely damaging to most people's understanding of the word ambition, for me anyway.
Yeah, the other thing, think about that, the ambition, whose ambition is it, is how authentic is it? Because, I mean, yes, if it's your business partner, your family, whatever, and you're following that vision and you're not 100% invested in it, then it's surely not going to work terribly well. And
let's take another one then. Let me take you down another thread of my thinking. Pivots. Most people sort of they have ambition without any sort of architecture. They have sort of, it's just wishful thinking. They don't have a strategy. And for me, many strategies are very ambitious. Strategy often fails, not because the vision is wrong, but because the bridge between that happening in the boardroom and the engine room is completely broken. And it's ambition that helps set that destination. But it's the adaptability is the vehicle between that ambition in the boardroom and the engine in the engine room. Without that sort of operational architecture connecting the two, your ambition can be as much as you like, but it is not going to drive your business forward. It is going to cause it to fail. There is me pontificating. As you can hear, I am in pontification mode today, in hyperdrive.
Indeed, and what's wrong with that?
Well, you might say that, Derek. I know a lot of people that would say no, it's not.
But as you know, adaptability is my thing. But and I like plucking statistics out of the air. But I can't remember the name of the survey. It was a PwC survey, and it said that 46% of CEOs are supposedly reinventing their business every year.
Wow.
So I'm sure that's maybe not necessarily an ambition thing, but that is definitely an adapt. Well, I assume it's an adaptability thing, not just changing for the sake of it. But if people are actually doing that, then the the impact of ambition is surely going, I don't know, decreasing, for want of a better word, be behind all of the other things that people and businesses need. I mean, we know it was the average life cycle of a product or a service is of the order of anywhere between 4 and 6 years, depending on. So you've got 2 to 3 years to do something. Um, so I suppose you could have an ambition and an associated strategy to reinvent your product or service every
Hmm.
2 to 3 years. But if you just rely on ambition alone to grow something, then that's not terribly good. I mean, I don't know if you know that you may know the company. You're a little bit south of them. Company based in, well, just south of Derby, Hardy Signs.
Oh, of course I know them.
You know Hardy Signs. Yeah,
I
well, I was
know,
there.
I know, I know Nick Hardy well, actually.
Nick and his daughter Blue.
I know Nick. I
His
do not
daughter
wish to,
Blue's the marketing director.
yeah,
But
do not
yeah,
wish to associate myself with any women. My wife might be watching this.
indeed. But the thing there is that is a very interesting company from that point of view, because Nick started off as a manual sign writer,
He did.
and now they're doing all sorts of stuff from illuminated lettering to big sort of screen type displays and everything
So
in
can I?
between.
You've mentioned that. Let me give you a story that Nick told me about this. He was very determined to win a particular job one day. That was his ambition. I challenged him. His ambition was to win a particular sign job in the local area because he was absolutely determined that they should win it. And I said to him, "How did you go about it?" And this was his strategy, if you like. "How did you go about winning it, Nick?" And he went, "I made sure our price was the lowest." I said, "Well, that's great. You won it. Did you make a profit?" He said, "I didn't care." Now, that for me was something which I think it was absolutely determined to win it. And maybe there are side benefits for Hardy because they have one other business because they had this very prestigious job. But
Yeah,
the ambition there was overriding his engine room, if you like, because he was determined to win it at any price. And for me, that becomes this adaptability thing. I think there are other ways you can win in a situation like that rather than just competing on price. Because as we know, if you compete on price, eventually you drive it down to the point at which you become commoditized.
yeah.
You
I think what
have
they
to start linking your ambition with your adaptability to win in different ways than just
yeah.
saying, I'm going to win it at the lowest price I possibly
I
can.
think now that, well, that company, and if any company expands, then I think you have to temper that slightly. I think their point of differentiation now is probably customer service, rather than price, because they are delivering things. The thing about the size of the company is important, because when you're just on your own or you've got two or three other people, then you can do that. If you've got 30 employees, you can't do that quite so easily. So I think they have changed very, very slightly. So there is
Mhm.
still ambition, but I think if you listen to them, their goals, they don't outwardly say we want to make lots of money, which is great, but they have ambitions regarding CSR,
Mhm.
um, and taking on apprentices and things like. I think their focus has changed very slightly, which is actually quite good.
And I think it's important to make sure you do adjust as you need to, as you progress. But what I think is important to be aware of is you have to have that connection.
Yeah,
Your ambition and your approach, your adaptability have to be aligned. You can be ambitious without and if you lose it, it becomes a distraction, not an underlying point.
Yeah.
I really think that high authority leaders rarely change the what. They aggressively iterate on the how. And that distinction is absolutely everything. High authority leaders know what they want to achieve, but they have to be adaptable on how they get there. And that aggression and iterative nature of the how is what leads to success.
Yeah, it's not yeah. The message, I guess, is not to confuse ambition with rigidity.
Absolutely. And well,
Um,
not to be so ambitious that you remain uh, rigid. You have to combine it with an ability to be adaptable, to make your approach the iterative sort of superpower. You know, it's sometimes adaptability requires you to subtract things, not just add things. You have to subtract complexity. You have to boil things down to the absolute basic. A lot of business owners think that ambition means sort of growing in 15 different directions at once. You know, that you'll find the most super niche businesses are the ones that fastest grow because they have reduced everything down to one particular niche.
Indeed, you realize you're almost leading me to mention the word chameleonomics, which
I'm not going to. I'm not
I,
going to
I
bring that to
promised
your
myself
attention.
I
I'm going
wouldn't
to take you
mention.
to the point. I will take you to the precipice, but I won't push you over it.
That's what that's what lots of people say.
And long may they do so, Derek.
Indeed,
Long may they do
indeed.
so.
But yes, adaptability is definitely the key. And I don't know. So the question is, with all these how particularly in a large, I wouldn't say a huge company, not a multinational company, but in a larger company, the outside of the one man band, how do we temper ambition? Because ambition can, I mean, it could be, you could be the employees trying to rein in the boss, or it could be, I don't know, the boss trying to rein in the ambition of employees. You know,
Hmm.
we need the ambition. We need in fact, it's the enthusiasm part of the ambition we actually need, not necessarily the stubborn part. I suppose I've just created an equation for myself. Ambition equals enthusiasm plus
I like.
stubbornness, or
I
something
like.
like that.
I do like that. I think that's excellent. I think sometimes we all have to understand that we ambitious in our own way, Derek. Let's put it like that.
Indeed. So how do we curb the ambition of somebody who's a real pain in the backside?
Do we need to?
Well,
It is. I think that once again, going back to my point, it's only really an issue if their adaptability is low. If they're an ambitious person with high adaptability, if they can change, if they can look at the situation, um, if they can realize sometimes, for instance, like a founder actually becoming a trap, becoming the bottleneck because they're so determined to be involved in everything, rather than because at the beginning of a business they're the hero, it's a requirement. Then as you start to scale, the heroism actually becomes the greatest liability. So if that person is ambitious and they are heroic in that sense, that becomes a problem. If you can turn around and say you can have ambition but you can be adaptable, you can realize you're the bottleneck and you can step away from that and allow others to flourish, then that ambition becomes a huge strength.
yeah, I was just when you were part way through
I'm sorry. I was.
your
I won't shut
opining
up, will
there.
I?
I was actually thinking about myself, but yeah, there is a danger though if you have ambition and flexibility that you can succumb, as I do, to shiny new object syndrome,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is less than desirable, and that has to be managed obviously within a company. But yeah, how would you manage shiny new objects syndrome in your boss if the company was owned by your boss or their family? How would you
Well,
do that?
I do my level best once again to never get in situation. I mean, if you have that sort of boss, unfortunately, you're in a difficult position. You have a I'm struggling not to use the word toxic. You have an ambitious boss. They are not an asset. You have to work out where your ambition and adaptability come in.
So if you're an employee, just bugger off and leave. Basically, if it's
Well,
become
well,
toxic, then
if you're
I suppose you have
if
to.
you're ambitious, does your organization have the architecture, the human architecture, the organizational architecture to carry the weight of your ambition? If it doesn't, I would suggest that you are going to have to seek a more aligned organization.
Yeah, it's the alignment of values again, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is a basic. If your values don't at least overlap with those of the company, then you're not in the right place.
You're not in the right place. I'm sorry, you're not, but you're not.
And also that goes the other way around, doesn't it?
It does.
If you're recruiting, then you need to make sure, not just because somebody's got some great skills or a big screwdriver or something, but that their values are aligned.
Are absolutely aligned, and they have to be aligned.
Indeed. So there we go. So I'm just thinking about recruitment actually, because that
Really?
is well, not for me. I'm going to be myself and then retire probably. But
You're unrecruitable, Derek. We both know that.
well, I'm certainly unemployable. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm just thinking because the other thing this the visit to Hardy Science and a trip to Derby College sort of got me thinking, because so we're talking about adaptability, we're talking about ambition, we're talking about all of these things that make companies grow and do things in a flexible way. But the colleges and the people who pay for or provide trading places, apprenticeships, all that sort of thing, that's not quite what they're peddling, is it?
No. No, it's not.
No. So yeah. Although having said that, at the college, there are a lot of very switched on kids who made me feel very old when they said, "How long have you been doing this?" And I said, "Oh, since about 20, since about 2001, 2002, something like that." And one of them turned around and said, "I wasn't born till 2008."
No, and that worries me. That that you have more experience now. But does it not worry you as well that you still see the ambition and the and that adaptability is still not aligned when 20 years later, really we should have moved on beyond the point where it isn't?
Well, the interesting thing is, I think it's the adults in the world who aren't doing the stuff. The kids, or should I say, young learners is the technical term for it. They are ambitious, and they have many of them do have their, I hate to use the term ducks in a row, but they do. And what they're doing is a stepping stone. They know where they're going, and that some of them are willing to be as flexible as it takes. People going to college just to get the minimum entry qualifications to university to pursue a career in something else. They're very, 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 very switched on. So I think what we as adults are feeding the younger people is not necessarily the right stuff. But again, that's in this country. I have contacts in Africa and in India, and I think they have got it, or a lot of it right. I'm not sure it's all right, but I think they have got a lot of it right. Africa particularly. India, there's still a lot of historical, cultural things in society, but I think other countries have got those basics a bit. I was going to say more right, which I don't think is correct English. better than we have. I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling on too much there.
You are, Derek, and I think we've got to return to our point. Ambition is great in the right place, but without organizational architecture, and we could go into what I mean by that. But that means that the behaviors and the way in which the business translate that ambition into action. Ambition can help you set direction, but adaptability is the vehicle, because you cannot just drive in a direction and hope the direction, the world stays the same. It doesn't. It will change. It will move. So you have to have the ambition with the adaptability.
Mm.
You have to make sure that your ambition is the unchanging thing, but the aggression comes iterating on the how. The ambition is the what is it you're trying to achieve, but your how has to be something that you constantly reiterate. And what is the signal that actually invalidates your path that you're taking, using that. And we talked a little bit before about sort of these things, one and two-way doors. If you have a decision in front of you and you think, I can reverse this in 3 weeks' time if we try it and it doesn't work, then do not spend a lot of time thinking about it. Push through that door, make the decision, and then 3 weeks later, if it's not working out, well, okay, come back. It's when you drive through that door and there is no way back that you need to spend time thinking about what you're about to do, testing, using data to validate, and then move forward, because you can't come back from one of those. Use your ambition wisely.
Yeah, in a roundabout way, you've just described part of my innovation equation.
Have I, Derek? I wonder why.
Well, I know you had it at the back of your mind, but no, there's two things within that sort of the measurement tool that I created, which is a desire to win, which I suppose is the ambition part, and knowing how to win, which they're two slightly subtle things, and you can address both of them, and you need both of them, otherwise you aren't going to win. But yeah, and allied to that is also getting the best out of people, which is moving onto a slightly different area. But desire to win and knowing how to win, I suppose, cover the ambition, don't they?
Yes, it does.
And part of the knowing how to win is the adaptability. As the world changes, then how you win changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, once again, is your engine, or your path is set by your ambition. Your how is set by your iterative nature and adaptability.
Indeed. That sounds like a very, very good point to actually.
And I think we've probably exhausted the subject at that point.
Indeed. So we have no idea what we're talking about next month, but next month should be the 17th of April. Only I'm going to be away because it's our 40th wedding anniversary.
Oh, well done. 40 years. You've got to look at a day over 21 again.
Indeed. So as long as the diaries are free, it will be the 24th of April.
I would believe that is free for me. So 24th of April it is.
So we'll pencil that in and make it the 24th of April. So
sounds good to me.
So if you're out there and you want to listen to some more opining, then feel free.
Pop on by. Same channel, same bat place.
Yeah, same place. Pick up the bat phone and listen in whilst having your lunch. So, well then, it's goodbye from me, and
it's goodbye from him.